Hello everyone, welcome to Raj Malhotra's IAS Academy. In part 2 of UPSC CSAT practice series, today we are going to discuss some important questions based on inference. In previous lecture, we have understood the basic concept of inference. How can we solve some questions based on inference? What is inference? How you can conclude that this is the real inference that the examiner is talking about or asking about. So let's start with some questions so that we can have that implementation portion of inference. Clear? So in previous lecture we have understood that if you have to find out an inference based questions answer, you need to focus on the main aim of the passage. So we will start with that only, and today's passage has been taken from CSAT paper of 2019. Clear? Let's just understand the topic. एक बार समझते हैं कि क्या टॉपिक दिया गया है और उसके बेसिस पर एक मेन एम निकालने की कोशिश करते हैं फ्रॉम द पैसेज इटसेल्फ. देखिए पैसेज क्या कह रहा है. Climate change may actually benefit some plants. May actually benefit some plants. Where the examiner says some plants, that means that it cannot benefit some plants. So we have to look for a flip side every time. By lengthening growing seasons, जो बढ़ रहे हैं, लंबे हो रहे हैं जो growing seasons हैं, and increasing carbon dioxide. Yet other effects of a warmer world such as more pests, droughts and flooding will be less benign, means less kind. Their effect will be less kind, means will be harsh. Clear? How will the world adapt? Researchers project that by 2050 suitable croplands for four commodities, maize, potatoes, rice and wheat will shift, बदल जाएगा, चेंज हो जाएगा, कुछ इनकी जगह पे दूसरा आ जाएगा. In some cases pushing farmers to plant new crops, means they'll plow some new crops, they'll put some new crops in place of the old ones that we are talking here. Some farmlands may benefit from warming, but others won't. That means it is a balanced side. Some will benefit, some will not. Clear? Climate alone does not dictate yields. Political shifts, global demand, agricultural practices will influence how farms fare in the future. That means climate is not only the only reason. Clear? We have other reasons as well, like the examiner has mentioned there will be political shift, global demand, agricultural practice. So these are the important factors that determine the yield. Clear? I think you have got the thing from the passage. That is your main idea कि अगर आप एक क्लाइमेट चेंज की बात करते हैं तो वो अकेला नहीं है, उसके अलावा भी दूसरे फैक्टर्स हैं. क्लाइमेट चेंज की वजह से जो शिफ्ट होगा, ठीक है, उसमें क्या होगा कि भाई कुछ क्रॉप्स को बेनिफिट मिलेगा, कुछ को नहीं मिलेगा. यही उसने यहाँ पर बोला है. क्लियर? तो आई थिंक वी हैव गॉट द आइडिया. अब क्वेश्चन की तरफ चलते हैं. लेट्स मूव टुवर्ड्स द क्वेश्चन. सो हियर इज द क्वेश्चन. नाउ क्वेश्चन इज ऑल अबाउट the logical and rational inference, which we have earlier seen in the previous lecture as well. So question says, which one of the following is the most logical and rational inference that can be made from the above passage? Okay, let's try to find out the correct answer. A option says farmers who modernize their methods and diversify their fields will be in an advantageous position in future. Yes, because they were saying some crops will benefit or some farmers will benefit, some will not. So if they diversify, then it will help, and if they modernize their methods, yes, it will help. Clear? Or they will be in the helpful situation, you can say that, in future, जैसा कि यहाँ पर उन्होंने बताया था. Clear? So one thing which we are sure about, yes, this can be our inference. Second, climate change will adversely affect the crop diversity. Yes, we can understand, but there is a flip side of this as well. So we can not only say it will adversely affect the all crop diversity, the overall crop diversity, it will you can say that it will adversely affect to some extent and positively affect to some extent as well. So this alone cannot be your answer. Clear? Let's move on to C option. Shifting crops to new croplands will lead to a great increase. This is an extreme opinion. There was nothing mentioned about this, that this will lead to a great increase in the total area under cultivation and thus an increase in overall agricultural production. So this was not mentioned anywhere in the passage, so we are not going to choose this as our answer or inference. Clear? Last option, climate change is the most important factor affecting the agricultural economy in the future. Yes, but that is not all. Here in the last line, the author has mentioned climate alone does not dictate yields, political shifts, global demand and agricultural practice will influence how farms fare in the future. So you cannot opt this as your correct answer. What will be your answer then? What will be the answer? If you have focused on the main aim of the passage, then the first option, which define that farmers has to modernize their methods and crop diversity should be there, this will be your answer. Then they will be in the balanced situation. Clear? I have explained the facts that were mentioned in the passage, and I hope you have also got the idea from the passage and from the options as well. Let's move on to the next question. Clear? अगर इससे रिलेटेड आपको कोई डाउट है तो आप जो है अपना कमेंट सेक्शन में डाल सकते हैं. क्लियर? इसकी PDF जो है वो भी आपको टेलीग्राम ग्रुप पर मिल जाएगी. लिंक इज इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन, जाकर के आप ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं. क्लियर? चलिए नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन की तरफ चलते हैं. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन क्या कह रहा है? Before the next question, let's analyze the passage. What is the analysis of the passage? What we have understood from the passage, that the language of the passage was easy because you have already read that in your GS portion. It was familiar because we in nowadays there are number of articles that we get in the newspaper from climate change. So the language was familiar and it was easy. Level of the question was easier because there were not confusion in the options. We were easily getting the answers from the main aim of the passage. There were you can say that there was no confusion in the option that A or B, A or D. This type of confusion was not there. So the overall the passage was L1 passage, that means level 1 easier passage. Clear? Let's move on to the next passage. Clear? Now the passage language here, if you can see, is of scientific background. So science, yeah, we can understand that science is a tough language to understand. If you are given a passage from scientific background or science part, then it's really confusing to connect those dots. So what we will try to do in this passage while reading, we will try to connect those dots. Clear? So if you see, passage says a bat's wing may look like sheets of skin, but underneath a bat has same five fingers of an orangutan or a human. So a bat has compared with orangutan and human, as well as a wrist connected to the same cluster of wrists. So it has been again compared with human or orangutan. Bones connected to the same long bones of the arm. That means here we are talking about clear limbs. What can be more curious than that? The hand of a man formed for grasping, that of a mole for digging, the leg of the horse, the paddle of the porpoise, the wing of the bat should all be constructed on the same pattern. Now, the author has left this passage open-ended for you. So it has given you a hint that these 4 or 5 things have a shared history or have some kind of similarity in pattern. Now he or she has asked you a question, all these things are constructed on the same pattern, is it clear? So this is an open-ended question that the author has left you with. Let's try to understand from the options what is the question, and let's just understand and try to find out the right answer from the hints given there. Clear? Bat has been compared with orangutan, human. There is some kind of similarities between 3 or 4 animals that have been mentioned in the passage. So we need to find out a correct balanced answer. Let's just try to find out. Now what is the question? This is also from the CSAT 2019 paper. So what is the question? What it says, which one of the following is the most logical, and here we have added another word, that is scientific, rational inference that can be made from the above passage. So अगर हम यहाँ पर बात करें तो उसने logical पूछा है, scientific पूछा है. Scientific मतलब based on the passage, ध्यान रखना क्योंकि इसमें scientific बातें की गई हैं, ठीक है. और rational inference, ठीक है जी. Rational मतलब which is not extreme in any kind of manner, you can say that, balanced with balanced approach. So let's just try to find out from the A option. Different species having similar structure of hands is an example of biodiversity. Do we have something on biodiversity in the passage? No, we do not have anything on biodiversity in the passage. We do not have single hint on biodiversity. So this won't be our answer. Now second option says limbs being used by different species for different kinds of work is an example of biodiversity. Again they have mentioned biodiversity, और biodiversity का जिक्र भी नहीं है पैसेज में. तो why to choose this kind of answer if they have not mentioned anything on biodiversity in the passage? Clear? So we are not going to choose this as well. Next, man and aforementioned animals having similar structure of limbs is an example of coincidence in evolution. If there is coincidence in science, that is nothing. Clear? Because coincidence कभी भी scientific एक रीजन नहीं हो सकता. जो क्वेश्चन में उसने पूछा, they have asked about the logical, scientific and rational inference. ठीक है, they have not told you कि भाई मुझे एक कोइंसिडेंस दे दो, फिर तो सारी चीजें कोइंसिडेंस हो सकती है ना. क्लियर? सो दिस वोंट बी आवर आंसर बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट साइंटिफिक. नाउ वी आर ओनली लेफ्ट विद this option. Man and the aforementioned animals have a shared evolutionary history. We do not know what it is, how it is, but they have a shared evolutionary history. बढ़ते बढ़ते कुछ ना कुछ हमें पता चला है कि उनमें common है. So they have something common. Clear? So this was easy in terms of elimination only. The language that the examiner has used was to the tougher side because we do not have any kind of interest in those scientific passages. So please understand that. And the analysis of the passage that we have is language and topic, because we do not read scientific passages as we more towards the side of reading GS topics apart from science. And the topic जो आपको पता है already वो क्या था, unknown था आपके लिए. जो question level, I'll put this question in the L2 moderate level because of the you can say that the language of the passage and unfamiliarity of the topic. So this was the analysis of the topic. So these were the two questions that we discussed today for inference. Clear? I hope you have got these passages very well and have understood how to find out the inferences from the passage itself. Clear? So thank you very much. Please do like it, share it with your friends, and if you're new to the channel, do subscribe our YouTube channel. अगले लेक्चर में मिलते हैं. चल ठीक है जी, then thank you guys, thank you very much.